Geocachomaniacs.
Geo Gearheads.
Welcome back to the Geo Gearheads episode 500. It's our 61st randomized show. I'm Daryl before in for the, we'll say, vacationing Chris of the Northwest, but he'll be joining us before too long. And it is a randomized show, so we've got a bunch of fun topics to talk about. But today it's mostly going to be just a bunch of dudes talking about geocaching because we've got some great returning guests for you. And we'll start off with GSM times 2. Welcome back to the show.
Daryl, always a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Always a pleasure. And we figured we couldn't do it just one Scott, so we brought in Scott Burks.
Hi, Daryl. How you doing, buddy?
I am loving the dual Scotts.
Right? I don't have my soundboard, or I would play the GSM times 2 dog bark.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, we really need the sound effect for the next guest because it's on a boat.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you guys?
You know, it's a Thursday night. We're doing our 61st randomized show. I don't think it could be much better.
61st random. This is you're completely ignoring it's the 500th episode of the show.
Well, who cares about the 500th?
Glossed over it like it was nothing.
Yeah, because who cares about the 500? That's not even 10 years yet.
That's 500.
It's 500 shows, but it's not 10 years. See, that's a milestone.
Okay, 500.
My 500th geocache was a big deal. I think your 500th show is a big deal.
Okay, I'll go with that because, you know, the aughts are a big deal on geocaching for sure.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, but yes, we are waiting for Mr. of the Northwest to show up. He's running late.
And again, you've also dealt with him for 500 shows, Daryl.
And then some. Because remember, he was the bad cop doing the question of the day back on Geocaching Podcast.
Years ago. Brett, that's pre-me.
That was. And he eventually turned that over to... why can I not remember her caching name? Lookout Lisa.
Lookout Lisa. There you go.
Yeah. So she did that for a while, and then eventually that wrapped up. I think she did that for a while on Podcaster too.
Did she?
I think so.
She did that. I was there when she was doing that. She finished that probably around 14 or 15, I think.
Yeah, I don't. It was before.
Before you left.
Andy left.
Oh yeah, well yeah, before
Yeah, and I want to say that it was before I left the Geocaching Podcast.
Because you left in 14.
I think so. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Daryl, how many shows did you and Scott
you know what?
work together?
I've just been corrected. It's actually 111. I kept saying 61.
It's show 111.
I can't even do.
God.
Yeah, I can't even do math. You know,
how many shows did me and Daryl do? Daryl, we me and Daryl were together on that show for about a year. So you got to figure.
Yeah, I want to say it was a little over a year, so probably like 60-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, which would be more difficult or more easy? 52 shows with Scott Burks or 500 shows with Of the Northwest?
It's hard to say. But to give you an idea, we've all done shows with each other outside of the regular shows.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not that challenging.
Right.
Okay.
But it's challenging when you've got me. Back in the day, for anybody who didn't listen who hopefully listens to the Geocaching Podcast, but didn't listen back in the early teens, you had me and Daryl and Andy, 3 hard alpha males trying to command attention of that, and it was just crazy.
Is that how you ended up with underwater hockey?
That's underwater.
Sorry, I had to bring it up.
Probably the greatest deflection of a show ever is underwater hockey. The best.
I did just listen to it the other day, and yeah, that was pretty great deflection.
That's a stop the show cold. Stops the cold show when she nonchalantly goes, I had to drop my son off at underwater hockey.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I think if I ever just gloss over that.
we might be repleting that show if we don't get off of this topic.
I was about to say we might end up with
Underwater hockey.
We're gonna end up with something good tonight. Like
look it up. It exists, underwater hockey. It is a sport.
It is a randomized show, so I mean we're kind of on topic, right?
Yeah, I was going to say there are no real topics. We've got a few in the show notes here, and we're going to actually kick it off with one of Scott's favorite topics.
Which one?
Which Scott? I don't know, because it's favored in different ways.
Okay, good Scott, bad Scott. Let's just go that way.
Which one am I?
Oh, what, Scott? By the show of hands, which one is Scott Burks? Come on.
But it's Cashly, which
hey, that's me.
Which good Scott, I guess, hates and bad Scott loves. So there is a new version of Cashly, and Scott, you're certainly more up to date on it than I am. You want to give us a rundown of what's cool and new aside from just it's a cool new Cashly?
Nick totally loaded it up. Dark mode with dark maps. I'm just going to go down the line here. Live search filtering templates, which is a total game changer right there. That you can actually you could template your search filters, which is amazing. Show all waypoints. When you're loading offline or online, you could show all waypoints of a cache. The geocaching HQ solution checker is right there is in it now. Trackables auto visit. You can set up your trackables to auto visit any cache you go to.
That's been a big requested item.
Yep. Settings now. Your settings reorganized into sections with a search, so you can now search your settings. So if you can't find a setting in something, you can actually search for it.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice. You could save offline adventure labs. You could save those offline. Archive caches should not be allowed to show cache radius. Well, one thing I'm going to show it. I can't find it because I actually saw it by accident. Is that do you ever go on Cashly, and actually you see you're going for cache, or there's somebody DNF'd it, and then you got to see this cat could have four finds for all we know, So you want to go see how many finds he has. It now says how many finds that person has right there under their icon. It says their find count.
That's awesome.
If you look at logs and you could see their find counts, everybody's find counts. So hey, that cat's got 2,000 finds. It's probably not there. Or this guy's got 6 finds. You know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to take a shot at it. That one, and I actually saw that live. I opened it up and I was looking for a cache. I'm like, oh my goodness, I could see somebody's find count now, because I literally used to do that all the time. All the time, we'd be going for a cache and it'd be like, it's got 2 DNFs, but this guy's got 3 finds. I'd have to go through 2 clicks to go find them. Also, one more thing, and then I'm gonna shut up, is that you also now have it where you can actually you can talk to somebody. So if you go into the what is it, the message center? Right? Yeah. And messaging actually opens in Cashly. It doesn't leave Cashly to open up in Safari. So I don't know if you're a user, it's super annoying, because when you try and open something up, you have to log into geocaching each and every time. It's really freaking irritating. Now you don't have to anymore. It'll be logged in there and it'll stay in there. So
that's interesting.
Also a game changer right there.
I wonder how he's doing that. I'll have to play with that specifically, because the issue had been the security on Messenger, and they didn't want to open that up to the API because they couldn't figure out how to secure it. I wonder if they figured that out, or if he's just doing a browser window inside. But
I have these links in your show notes. Do you share your show notes with your people?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. We have a link.
Not the show notes that we've got, but I create shorter show notes.
This link that we've got I'll give you everything if anybody wants to see what Cashly, the new 7 features are. It's really nice.
I'm anxious to give it a shot, but I have not. I didn't even notice. Yeah, Scott goes, we got to talk about Cashly 7. I'm like, I didn't even know Cashly 7 was out.
Yes. Which just shows you guys he doesn't listen to my show. Is what that just shows you right there. Thank you.
Wow. Anyway.
Busted, Daryl. Busted.
Yeah, that happens all the time these days.
Although, for the record, I didn't see Ian in the chat room last night either, so you're off the hook.
I think the man's been busy.
I didn't call you yesterday? No, I wasn't
No,
yesterday.
I think I said.
That was last week. I talked to you last week.
Yeah.
The question I think, Ian, is did you recover yet?
Yes.
Yeah, sort of. I'm actually on vacation from work now. I'm actually leaving with my family to go on a trip to Florida for a week. So I think the problem is I this year was a mess in like all respects of everything. Like this year was an absolute train wreck, and I came back from the event and immediately went back to work on Monday, and then work's been incredibly busy too. So I don't know. I'm hanging in there. We're good. So, but
Yeah, going back to work the day after a mega event that you're hosting does not seem like a smart idea.
No.
yeah, well, it was extra. So normally I've been doing it for years. So like normally I go back to work on Monday and I don't have an issue, even though like everybody else is like you should take Monday off, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. But I usually get home with enough time to kind of relax and chill and have dinner and whatever. But this year, like we ended up sitting and having lunch for a few hours, like with our team, and kind of talking about things and stuff and problems and everything, and just sat there because we don't really get to all be together in the same place. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I didn't get home until about 9 o'clock Sunday night, and got up for work at 7 a.m. So,
No.
And you had to pump out the campground too, I understand, or something like that, huh?
yeah, that was. I mean, that's their problem. They can deal with their own drainage problems. But yeah, there he is.
There he is.
Aloha.
Aloha.
So, how was your vacation?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Refreshing?
Sorry, it was late. I had to go to Hawaii to get a new shirt. No, that's not the case. Traffic. We're back to pre-pandemic traffic levels, at least here in this city.
Oh, we're seeing increased traffic as well, but we're not seeing that many people going back.
Yeah.
So where's the traffic coming from? I think it's all the accidents that Ian has to check out.
Deal with.
Yeah.
Keeps
But
them
hey, Ian, Jim wants to know if you're going to be hosting 3 mega events next year.
I saw that. Not if I can help it. No.
So yes, in other words.
So what's funny? I shouldn't say this because I don't know. It's my place to say it. Somebody actually mentioned something to me about helping them with another event, and I'm like, no thanks. I don't think that's a good idea. But anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens next year. I think next year. Actually, you know what? Since we're on this topic, and I hate bringing up COVID all the time, but man, I'll tell you what, I am starting to get nervous about the rest of this year, and I'm starting to get nervous about next year, and I don't really know how much planning I should be doing right now, or how much I should just wait, or you know what I mean? Like my work, we just had a big meeting today, and we're actually starting to reopen our offices for people in person.
Mm-hmm.
And they said today, hey, we're going to push that all the way back to January now.
Really?
So,
Wow. January. Wow.
Yep. So we, and my wife is working from home indefinitely, and you know what I mean? So, I mean, they've said it multiple times. They're like, yeah, this is we're kind of going back to our July of 2020 game plan right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and I'm like, yeah, here we go again. So.
Mr. Abote.
Sir?
The big tech here in Seattle, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, have all pushed back to January 2022 now.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing the same thing. We're just looking at the numbers right now going, we shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, we were planning on coming back on the 6th of September.
We're back. We literally last week went back full time to work.
So did we.
Well, and that said, I still work at the office all the time. It's There's about, and that number's gone up. There's probably about 20 of us in the office at any given day. And through COVID, it was about 5.
Yeah. When I was, I have a building that holds 5,000 people. When I like in April and May, there was about 6 people, including me in the office. There was days I had the whole floor to myself, like the entire floor.
It's creepy though.
Oh, it was freezing cold because, they didn't turn the heat on because no one's there. So it's like, it's April and it was, maybe 30, 40 degrees outside and it was 40 degrees in there, literally trying to keep my hands warm. It was freezing at work.
Yikes.
But,
yeah. And the interesting thing is we had a company, a fairly big tech company, moving in to the floors below us and above us. So we're now sandwiched by a different company. And they were scheduled to move in, I want to say it was June or July of 2020. They're just starting to come in now, and we're seeing probably a few hundred of them. They probably have enough seating and everything to fit probably 2,000 people, and there's a couple hundred, maybe 300. But they're coming in at least.
You know who I'm scared for? I'm scared for going caching. That's what.
Yes.
I'm sitting here and I have Shaved Ewoks cards sitting here from as a 2017 one.
Right.
I was sitting here thinking, should I go upstairs and get mine? I was gonna do a little promo of my cash card, but did you guys get yours? Did you guys get your cards?
I did not get it in time.
I didn't get a card. No.
I'm so disappointed.
I've ordered them, but I haven't received them yet.
All right. At least you got one.
I hope it happens. I mean, like it's
but I thought the cutoff was like July 1st or something.
Yeah, it's early. It's really early. The cutoff.
Well, but
it was 2 days or 3 days ago. Or,
it was the first
Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, really? Because like 2 years ago when we did the pirate one, when the GCPC put the card in, like we were late, and it was like July, and we were late. And she's like, "No, just let it in. Well, I'll let it slide." But
it was one of those I found out at Midwest Geobash that it was like a week away or whatever. I'm like, oh, I gotta go home and do that, and of course, never had a chance.
I would have known that. I would have done one. I thought I was way past the date.
Yeah, well, and this week has just been really tough.
You might still try.
Messenger.
Yeah, it's not a bad
both
idea.
Of you.
Use cash through the messenger right now.
Hey, there you go.
So,
where's the little
so like with the Florida numbers and like the 20,000s now. I mean, Atlanta's like right there. Like that's what scares me. Is that like?
Well, the interesting thing about that though is where they're located. They're still in a fairly rural area of the state. Like, granted, Atlanta's an hour away, but like they're not in like Atlanta proper trying to have the event, at least, so and I think Georgia was doing kind of like a county based approach, you know what I mean, in
I
some
believe so.
respects.
Yeah,
So
you're not taking into account all the Floridians that are coming up to go to one state.
well, I mean, just think of all the people
all over the country, all over the world.
right.
But the country coming in from different parts of the country.
But
that just seems like
the ruling right now from HQ is that your event complies with your local and state guidelines. So in theory, as long as the county, the city, whatever says that event can happen and they're not locked down because of where they're located, right? It could still happen unless the organizers are thinking the same way you are, like, well, we're gonna have people coming from all these places. We don't want to like contaminate Rome, But
so, Ian, you're kind of on top of all these megas. Was there an outbreak from the Texas Challenge, Mingo Madness? Has anybody heard of any outbreaks associated with one of our megas?
Not that I've heard, no.
Me neither.
And I don't really know that I would hear that. That seems like, I don't know. Maybe you would hear that. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where like maybe they'd want to keep it quiet and just talk to the affected people.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it's one of those things that they're going to track back that tightly, because when you hit an event like that, you're going through airports, you're going through all of these
Right.
rest areas if you're driving. It's going to be such a broad stroke that you can't paint it back unless there's some obvious, everyone is getting sick.
Right.
I mean,
It could have happened anywhere along the way.
At Lollapalooza in Chicago last weekend. I mean, that's gonna. Oh my, our numbers are gonna shoot
600,000 people.
Insanity. Like, and did you see the pictures? I mean, they were on top of each other. I'm like, oh, maybe like wheezy just looking at it. And yet, so it's funny. Me and Ian actually had this conversation. I think on Sunday. I said, or maybe it was after. I don't remember. But I said, hey, it seemed like the mega was light this year. And Ian's like, no, actually, the numbers.
That was on your show.
Was that on the show?
That was on the show. Yeah, the week after the event.
Is that Lollapalooza right there?
That's
picture?
Lollapalooza. It looks like modern art. You can't
just
tell.
Picture of COVID.
Does somebody want to try to explain that to the audio listeners? What this looks like?
It's a massive.
It's a moray pattern.
It's a picture of a COVID. Is what's a picture of. It's a little. So I'm talking to Ian and I said, hey, it seemed light. Did you have less people because of COVID? And Ian said, no, actually, we had roughly pretty close to the same amount. It's just people were so spread out and not clustering. I don't know how anyone who's ever been to Midwest GeoBash. It's a social mega. People get together and hang out, and usually, you go into I can't remember the name of the main building. What's the
Spangler?
Spangler.
Yeah.
That's usually packed all day. And it was like dead most of the day, like just empty. And so,
but I kept running into people who I have not seen in years, like cashers that I haven't seen their name on a log in 10 years were there this year.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Now, and it's not that they haven't been caching. It's just, they're just not caching, in the areas that they used to be caching. Some have moved. Some just aren't caching around home anymore. They only cache when they go on vacations, but it became a destination this year. I'm going to vacation at Midwest GeoBash,
and it's a shame because it's such a great mega for social, and it just seems like people just. I mean, obviously the 15 icon, the shot at the 15 icon day threw a lot of people, I imagine, out going for. I did. I didn't hang around. I was gone most of the day.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that did. I'm sure COVID did. So it's different variables that obviously pulled people away from the social aspect of it to go cash.
I think we put. I don't know. For years, we've gotten feedback from people like, oh, we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to do this. So this year we were like, okay, well, that sounds like a cool idea. Let's try that. That sounds cool too. Let's add that. And then all of a sudden we end up with 17 things on the schedule, and there's something for everybody, and everybody's.
You didn't have the vlogger thing this year. That was so fun the other time
because nobody asked me about it. So that's the thing. That's my thing. And I've had the same conversation with the team. Literally anything that anybody wants on the schedule, if somebody wants to do it, just tell me and I'll type it into the schedule. The vlogger thing, that was actually Neil Moore had actually gotten a hold of me about that. I don't know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever that was. And he got a hold of me. He said, hey, I want to do some game thing. And I said, okay, cool. Can I put you here? And he's like, well, yeah, I got a couple other vloggers coming. And I was like, all right, well, let's make it a thing. I'll just put it on the schedule and tell people to go meet you guys and go hang out with you. And he was like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And then I think I told you, I think I told Daryl, I think, and then all of a sudden there's a whole pile of you guys standing there and turns into a thing. So my thing is I just don't want to run it.
You were booths. All the vloggers had booths, and it was awesome because you can go from booth to booth to booth and see all the vloggers, which was actually kind of cool. I thought that was really nice.
We can do it. I just
hey man,
I didn't know. First of all, none of you guys even told me you were coming, except for
I'm not a
you
vlogger.
and
I'm a podcaster. I'm not a vlogger.
Whoever, but you still went and you said you went and swapped path tags when you were there.
Of course, I went and I met everybody. Of course, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I don't want a booth. I'm not a vlogger.
You're still part of the.
You want to meet me?
You're part of the media. Let's just make a media tent. That's what it needs to be. It needs to be a media tent.
I was thinking one other thing. I was thinking maybe at the media tent you could do an AMA and ask me anything kind of thing with the mic, and you could have people ask me or Daryl. Put certain people on or the vloggers on stage and have an AMA for half an hour or 40 minutes.
Yeah.
People ask questions if they need to ask questions. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, that's kind of what they did at the Gigastock. We had the bloggers here, and we had the podcasters right next door to us, and yeah, it was a whole media extravaganza.
You can get on there.
Okay.
2022. Get on there.
No,
Let me just type it in.
It's not that hard. Ian. I don't care what's the problem.
That's what I'm saying. It's not hard. Let me just type it in the schedule. There you go. Done.
Job for you. Come on, it's not that difficult.
Thanks, bud.
That's what he's going to do. He just needs somebody to push it. He's an ultimate delegator. You come up with the idea, you run it.
Just tell me.
Do it.
Tell me
I'll
you like
put
the
you on
idea.
a
I'll make it happen.
Yeah. As long as, Scott, you're willing to do it.
No, I'm not.
No,
that
hey,
could be the problem.
Maybe we need to nominate Bob Billy for that.
Yeah.
He has the organizational skills to do that.
All right, well, we move on to something a little cheerier than COVID, which is maybe the new leaderboard challenge, which, quite honestly, I just found out about today.
Oh,
yeah, me too.
Daryl, what do you do? What rock are you under, dude? Seriously.
It's called the paying day job.
Go mail, social media. What are you doing, man?
I check mail probably every 5 minutes, just not my personal accounts anymore.
Every Tuesday, Groundspeak sends an email to all of us.
I know.
And Jesse reads it and tells Scott about it, and she's educated.
Daryl, we're going to start with this. Are you a premium member, Daryl?
I am.
Okay.
Anyway.
Hey, fess up to it, Scott. Jesse fills you in on all this stuff.
Right? Most times.
Yeah, most of the time. Okay.
Not all. Depends if I read. If I read the email, then no.
Okay.
That sounds familiar. Renee always tries getting stuff that I haven't seen, and of course, by the time she forwards it to me, I already know about it.
Right. All right. Okay.
So I just need her to forward me more stuff so I know about it ahead of time.
Did she forward you anything about the leaderboard?
She did not.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
When she forwarded me about the gold bags.
So it's her fault.
And by they announced gold bags at the grab bags.
I got two.
See, by the time I got off of work and opened the email, they were already gone.
Really? Yeah. Jesse got it. Jesse texted me while we were at work. She's like, I'm like, get two, because we always do a unboxing for patrons on our
right. Yeah, we like to do the same thing. But in any case, so there is a new leaderboard challenge called Reach the Peak that runs through the March 6th of next year, but it started, a few days ago. Mm-hmm. And in their blog post, they said over 7 months, geocachers have the chance to earn up to 2 souvenirs each month. Players who earn all 14 souvenirs will earn an additional meta souvenir for completing each month of the challenge. So
if you miss 1 month, you're kind of
you don't get the 15th.
Right. Wow. And it looks like what they're doing is the height of the mountain is the number of points you need. So it's a different mountain every month, and you get 600 points for a multi cache. So you'll notice these are big point numbers compared to what we're used to seeing.
Yes.
And it's because they're using the height. I think mystery cache is 500, Earth cache is 450, an Adventure Lab cache is 350, which I want to know if that's each individual stage or if it's one.
No,
I'm thinking it's individual each stage.
Now you do a 10 stager, like when we go to West Bend next weekend,
or Route 66,
or Route 66.
Yeah,
nice shirt, by the way.
But any other founded is only worth 325.
Yeah. So you want to get.
So they're definitely still pushing adventures.
Multis and adventures is what you want to focus on. There's your.
Yeah, definitely.
Like stage multis and.
Although the mysteries are pretty good too.
Mystery, yeah.
Especially if you're solving those when you're sitting around waiting for calls at work or something.
Right.
Which it would be nice if I could do that again. And the souvenirs are going to be. Pukach? Man, I don't even know how to pronounce that one.
Just say pancake.
Pancake? Okay. Pancake, Jaya Base Camp and Summit. The Vin Sun, wow, Base Camp and Summit, Elbrus Base Camp and Summit, Kilimanjaro Base Camp and Summit, Denali Base Camp and Summit, Alcorga. Wow, I'm butchering these. I'm sorry.
No, I'm letting you say it. Just keep going.
Work. Come on, Daryl. Talk it out. Work through it.
Base Camp and Summit, Everest Base Camp and Summit, and then Peak Performer. So 2 per month. You get one. Judging on this month's, it's one for starting it. Doesn't matter what you get, as long as you find one cache, you're getting it. And then you have to climb the height of the mountain. Now, I'm questioning whether they're going to change that first one. I wouldn't be surprised at some of the later ones if they're going to put it at the height of the actual base camp.
Really? You think?
Yeah, I think so, because I think when we get to like Everest,
you can't get me to like January and February and expect me to find hundreds of caches in February. Come on. In Chicago?
I think they're going to.
That's not nice.
You can do adventures.
We all don't live in California like GS sometimes too over here. You know, some of us can deal with snow.
You should be used to it by now.
Right.
But think of all the people in the southern hemisphere. They're finally being able to maybe get some stuff during their summer. So
there you go. All right.
It's a worldwide game.
Jim Stark's got the right attitude right there. That's right.
Yeah, I will do normal caching and check near the end of the month to see if I need to target a number of caches to reach the peak. I'll probably will have already reached the peak, which we hope is actually the truth. And then Just Finding Our Way said they did it with multi-caches in one day. And John says base camp and summit each month. Good point. Pukach Jaya goes straight up from the coastal plain pretty much. And I think they're talking, the theory that I have that maybe the base camp moves, so it might not be one cache. You might have to get like 10 caches or something for some of them. So we will see as it goes on. But I think it's a cool idea. I'm just questioning that drive for numbers.
I'm curious about the scoring changing.
You think it might change every month?
Like maybe a letterbox or maybe a
that. Oh, I don't think that's going to change.
Or maybe
no. I think he might be right. They might do a focus on something new each month, which would also justify making changes.
I think it'll be lab cache. Like I think the lab cache is still going to be.
Well, I think the lab cache is probably going to be there, but we might see like travel bugs as a focus 1 week or 1 month. And we might see some of these jump up to like 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just being 600 at the top is 1,000. It would be a way to offset the height of those bigger mountains.
As long as they don't surprise us with it, you got to get 35 at the end.
What's wrong with that?
People are still real bitter about that. When was that? What was that? Was that 2 years ago? 3 years ago? When was that?
I think it was 4, wasn't it?
Was it that long ago?
I think so.
Mystery at the museum, right?
Yeah. Not bitter.
Oh, yeah.
Just got not bitter. Just got to the end of the marathon run and found out I had to do 2 more laps. That's easy.
It's at least 3 years ago because we did that one before Midwest Geobash, and the last Midwest Geobash was 2 years ago.
Gotta remember, we did that. I did that in Midwest. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I did it the week before Bash at CMAS GeoFest. I went out to Massachusetts and did it there. So,
well, it's funny. We were talking on the show last night. We want to talk about how old we're getting. The 31 Days of August. That was like 6 years ago.
Oh my God. That was 8 years ago. That was 2013.
2014, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, was it 14?
Hard Hat was really big on that one, and they had just gotten married.
Is that insane?
Yeah,
that's crazy. That was that long ago.
I'm gonna go
look.
Somebody looked it up last night on Scott's show, and it's 2013.
20.
Yeah.
Where does them go, man?
I was gonna say I thought it was 13. Yeah.
8 years ago then.
I'm still trying to complete it.
Remember that everyone just kept streaking after that. Remember, everyone just kept going. Oh, crazy.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I went to 123 and decided that was enough for me. I like that magic number.
151, and I was like, I'm done. Why am I doing this?
That was right
Yeah.
about what I did. Same thing, Scott. It was like in the mid 150s that year.
Jessie
And I
went in well into the 200s. She
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
I got tired of it back then. That was
Yeah. It got winter. I'm like, I'm done.
yeah.
Getting cold.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, there's only so much I can do, especially, because I'm still employed.
Right. Yeah. And
You know.
like, I've 19,000 caches. I've pretty much cached my area clean, So
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, this is when I keep going, things like this is how awesome would it be to retire into an RV?
Oh, my dream.
Mm-hmm.
My dream.
I don't want to drive the RV. So that here's my big problem. But I'd love to be able to retire to that like mobile home thing. And I'm seeing the light on well, let's just retire onto a boat.
On a boat?
On
A boat.
Don't retire on me.
I wish I had my son. So it's funny, Jesse and I talked about it, where it's like we hope our kids all get jobs in different parts of the country, so we can just get an RV and just go from kid to kid to kid to kid, depending on what season it is. One in Texas, one in New York, and one in California, and we can just choose where to go, and just keep moving. And maybe get a condo in Chicago, just for a home base, I guess.
Just get out of Chicago entirely.
I was gonna say, get out of Chicago.
Just move to the middle.
No, I got friends here. I don't mind. If all three of my kids are gone, probably. I mean, I'm not going to
crash with your friends and get your condo, somewhere pretty.
Florida.
He's coming back to Lollapalooza.
Yeah, don't do Florida. Florida, you'll have other problems.
Florida.
You can go down there and buy a cheap RV and then drive it out.
New Mexico or something like that. Be done there.
Go to Montana.
Yeah, something like that. No, someplace warm. I don't want cold.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I want warmer for the retirement.
I'm done. I'm done now. If I could leave now, I'd leave now. My children keep me here. If I didn't have children, I'd be out of here.
You sound kind of like my wife, Scott. All right, Chris, we got some feedback from last week's show, though. You want to read us that one, since I obviously can't?
Why can't you read?
Well, I don't know why you can't.
Now I'm curious.
Well, I obviously have problems reading tonight.
Oh, that okay.
Oh, okay.
In that case, I understand.
You can't be that vague, dude. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not it.
Well, I thought it was that obvious that I'm having problems tonight.
This comes from TMR 68. He says, I just listened to Geo Gearheads 499. That was last week. This is episode 500. In case
Daryl doesn't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to him.
Even care.
He doesn't care.
Doesn't care. Nope, nothing.
This was smartphone versus GPSR, and I'd like to add some points. You can actually download caches to your Garmin GPSR if the field for the device, I'm suppose that says in the field, if the device has geocaching live through your smartphone, either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. This can be quite fiddly to set up, but once it works, it does work quite nicely and is good to have ready when you need it. I use a GPSR as my main caching device since I usually am out caching on full day trips. I don't do too much spontaneous caching using my phone since it usually turns out I'm a little bit too low on battery and not in the habit of carrying around a power bank. I also don't like running around with the phone tethered to the power bank instead preferring the GPSR where the batteries can be easily replaced. This also makes me think twice before getting one of the GPS Map 66 series with an internal battery, even if Garmin claims the 35-hour battery life or more in expedition mode. It's probably not true during winter where the battery is also running a greater risk of being damaged, and then you can't replace it. So I'm concerned if the 10 or 30 minute interval tracking for expedition mode will be at all usable for geocaching. Now, Daryl, I missed that the 66 series had an internal battery.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that on the show last night, but that is an excellent point. One of the big things that you don't want on your GPS is that fixed internal battery. You want, even if it has its own battery, like some of the earlier Montanas and Monteras did, make it an interchangeable battery.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But the 66 series did encapsulate the battery for the same reason that like the iPhones did. Hey, look, it goes 35 hours.
Right.
It's better battery management and all that kind of stuff. But, I really don't want that from a GPS. If it's a GPS dedicated unit, I got to change the batteries.
Well, and that really solidifies the 64 series as being the one that I'm really looking forward to if I was getting a new GPSR today.
Yeah, which I still have my 64. It's good. Quite frankly, I like the 60 better.
I actually just got a 64.
Yeah, they're good units. But
I haven't used it yet for geocaching. It's just kind of sitting on my counter.
The
upstairs,
60 CSX, despite not having all of the features, was one of the most accurate GPSs I've ever had. So it did a better job as a straight GPS, but I'm not dealing with the lack of paperless caching at this point.
I've literally turned my GPS on once in 5 years. Once.
Yeah.
Literally.
I don't use mine much anymore.
Just to see if it turns on.
Which is kind of the point.
Turned on. I can't believe it. Like,
well, I keep
still satellite.
I turn it on, I take it with me, and it hangs around my neck.
Yeah.
I never pick it up after I turn it on.
And that's sad because I completely used it for years and years and years. And it's the phone just gotten between an external battery for the phone, a power bank, which that your listener didn't want to use, but makes it so just to hang it out, put it in your bag.
I am not a fan of the power banks either. I carry the power bank, but I will not tether a phone to the power bank because I've run into too many sticks on the trail.
I don't unless I absolutely have to. I usually don't. But
I am a huge fan of the battery case.
Yeah, I know you are. Yeah, you're a big battery case guy.
Yes. Yeah. And it's because it's like an external interchangeable battery and you don't have to power cycle the phone.
Yeah.
And I use a battery. I have a battery pack that's about the size of my phone, and I have a 1 foot, maybe even 6-inch cable, so they both sit together in my pocket.
Yeah, there's a 3-inch cable that you can get for like the iPhones off of Amazon, but it's still like I want to say like $10. So it's not really any cheaper, but it does make it a lot better if you're sticking it in your bag.
Yeah.
Or if you're just holding the phone and the power bank together.
Don't have to worry about sticks.
Yeah.
I
have a power bank the size of my phone. It also has a Qi charger on it. So I can just hold them together.
Oh.
There's no cables that way.
Well, and the latest thing for the iPhone 12s is you have that MagSafe. So Apple stopped making the smart battery cases, and it's now just the magnetic attachment to the back of the phone.
Genius.
I don't like that so much because it does waste heat. Well, it creates the heat, but it's wasting that power. So I already have problems with the heat. I haven't tried one to know how bad it is. That's my disclosure, but that's my worry about it is I already have problems with heat. If I'm out doing Pokemon Go.
What's that?
The Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
You used to play that.
It has an abbreviation now, Pogo.
Oh, it's had an abbreviation. This is not new.
What you speak of? I don't know what that is. What is it?
You might know it as no-go.
No-go.
Yeah.
But my phone will actually go into its thermal, cool down mode where I can't see the screen well. Yeah, it's annoying to say the least. So I worry that's going to be more prevalent because of the Qi. Meanwhile, Jim says, yes, we back up the iPhone 12 with the 64 ST. And Starcasher says, I won a GPS Map 64 ST at Midwest Geobash in 2019 at the treasure hunt. Thanks, On a Boat. But I've not used it yet because I like my old eTrex Touch 35 better. It's a backup unit.
Who doesn't? The eTrex.
Jim says, a fast mag charger in the car, cache all day and night, no heat problems on Cachely.
Nope. Cachely's the best.
And then Just Finding Our Way says, ever had a GPS do that, Daryl? And yes, I have. I don't remember which ones, but they were Windows CE based. It was the Magellan ones used to do that. And I actually had the Colorado gave me a lot of problems like that too. But it would shut down for anything. Those were terrible units. It's such a good idea, but what's that?
There was a stick on the trail, so the Colorado would shut down.
No, I thought the stick on the trail was it drifted 120 feet.
Oh, it wouldn't stick on the trail.
Yeah, you had to. It would drift 120. Oh no, it's 120 meters, I think.
Oh.
And so you had to power cycle it.
Wow.
I just remember when you stopped walking, it didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you stopped. Hold on.
It was real easy to get the batteries out and back in. That was the only advantage of
You just
that.
had to drop it.
But you had to take off your clip on the back.
I had to take off the clip and then it was back. It was 12 seconds.
Yeah. It was an interesting idea, but they kept the clips. They kept that little rail system, the clips. The rest of it pretty much went away, including the batteries, unfortunately, apparently. Just took them a while to do that. All right, gentlemen, we are at our time for this evening because we actually do have a heart out because ice cream is calling Mr. Burks.
Dude.
Ice cream.
Dairy Queen.
When should I be over?
I think
bailing
Ian
on
is now going out.
He's bailing on the 500th show for ice cream.
And it's not even good
how
ice
important
cream.
you are.
It's delicious ice cream.
Oh, I know where I stand.
And is Dairy Queen even ice cream? Is it real ice cream? Or,
Oh yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
delicious.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. It's real.
Or is it just a
Oh,
frozen dairy?
or is that just a Midwest thing that is ice cream?
Real damn good is what it is. That's what it is.
I knew I could get a cuss out of you.
All right.
Frozen dairy product.
Right?
Frozen dairy products. Yep.
I'm gonna
Before we
I'm gonna
go,
watch
John.
some football. Did you guys know football's on tonight?
Balls on.
I did not.
The Steelers and Cowboys are playing right now.
Play like in
You guys
England or
know.
something? Where are they playing football? Like,
In Canton. It's a Hall of Fame game tonight.
Oh.
Oh.
So
I
I'm
don't
gonna
like
go watch some
Steelers.
football. Nah, nobody cares about you.
Ouch, your words hurt.
Picking on my
All
team.
right.
Anyway, sorry.
Go-
Heart
go-
out. Give a heart out. Heart out. What?
Go to a
Yeah, the ice
show
cream
that
is
they
calling.
like.
Let's hurry up.
Let's go.
All right. So GSM times 2. Tell people where they can find you.
Usually on this show every 3 weeks. Message me on the geocaching app or through the messaging service. That's the best way to get hold of me.
All right. And on a boat?
I'm on the internet.
occasionally.
Sometimes. You come to an event, you probably find me or on geocaching. My name's on a boat, if you didn't know that. So good enough.
All right. And Mr. Burks.
I'm Scott Burks. You can find me on social media at Scott Burks across the board. And I also host the geocaching podcast, GCPC, every Wednesday night live. It's just geocachingpodcast.com. I think that's the domain.
That's you?
That's me. Yeah,
Oh,
that's me.
8:30 Central every Wednesday. Good show.
Yes, 8:30 live.
All live and call in. The
Call
only
in.
call in.
Call in. Show there is. Yes.
Yeah. If when it's dead, it's not a very exciting show.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Daryl.
You're welcome. I figured we just had to make that distinction. All right. So check the Caching Maniacs website at cachingmaniacs.com for more on the Geo Gearheads, including show notes for this and all of our episodes. We love hearing from our listeners, so leave us feedback by emailing geogearheads@cachingmaniacs.com or through social media. Your support helps keep the Caching Maniacs shows coming. Please consider becoming a patron through the link on our website to support the Caching Maniacs shows. Geo Gearheads is produced by Quinn Steffenauer and Daryl Wanberg. This show is copyright 2021 by Daryl Wanberg. All rights reserved.